You can start, Prashant.
A very good morning to all. I, Professor Prashant Payam, welcome all the participants for the day 3 of 4 days faculty development program on research methodology, a detailed research process, which is organized by Sanatana Research and Training Institute, a unit of Sanatana Sampradishtana, Mysuru. Let us begin this session by seeking the blessing of the Lord Almighty. Sarvamangala Mangalye Shive Sarvartha Sadhike Sharanye Trayambike Gauri Narayani Namostute. Now I request Dr. Ramchandra Siji, the Managing Director of Sanatana Research and Training Institute, to welcome and introduce the resource person of today's session.
Well, very good morning, one and all. So I take this opportunity on behalf of Sanatana Research and Training Institute, which is a unit of Sanatana Sampradishtana, Mysuru, to welcome everyone for this session 3. Speaker of today's session 3 is Dr. Shraddha Bhume, Satish Pradhan Dayasadan College, Thane, Maharashtra, and participants from different parts of the country. Karnataka, Kerala, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Tamil Nadu, West Bengal, Maharashtra, Delhi, Uttar Pradesh, Assam, Odisha, and even from other part of the country, Bangladesh. We got the participants. And let me introduce today's speaker, Dr. Shraddha Bhume. She has completed her post-graduation in MCom in the year 2005 from University of Mumbai, Maharashtra, and she has done her MPhil in the year 2008, and she secured gold medal and from the same university, and she has done her MBA in the year 2012 from NMI TMS University, and she has completed her PhD in Commerce field in the year 2014 from JGT University, Rajasthan. And at present, she is currently working as coordinator for BCom in Accounting and Finance section at Satish Pradhan Jnana Sadhana College, Thane, Maharashtra. And she has 15 years of teaching both UG and PG course, as well as she has got good number of years of research experience also. And she has written 80 plus books in various subjects of her expertise. And she has published more than 100 research papers in reputed journals, as well as she has presented many papers in the conference too. And she has received many awards nationally as well as internationally for her contribution in the field of research as well as in the field of education. And she has delivered more than 30 sessions on how to write research paper, how to write proposals, and how to draft a doctoral thesis, and framing of objectives and hypotheses and research methodology, etc. And she has guided 3 PhD scholars, and 6 candidates have submitted their thesis under her guidance. So this is the brief introduction about today's speaker, Dr. Shraddha Bhume. And so before starting, let me give this information. Let me start with this quote. In much of society, research means to investigate something you do not know or you do not understand. Okay, research is a formalized curiosity, and it is poking or playing with a purpose. Without a purpose, okay, the research cannot be initiated. Okay, with this quote. And today's speaker, okay, so she has included many areas in this research methodology, like a concept of research she'll going to give, and how to select a topic for your research, and a detailed review of literature, and objectives of the research, how to frame the objectives of your own research, and how to set the hypothesis. So this is also a very important aspect in the research, and research methodology in detail, and time plan for your study. So this is also major aspect in your research, and references of the study, how to give references at the end, of your the research while writing the thesis, and analysis and interpretation of your data which you have collected during your the research, and finally a drafting a thesis. Okay, these are some of our content she'll go to deliver today. So with this, I wish all the participants will have a fruitful interaction with the today's speaker. And once again, thank you one and all.
Thank you, sir. Now I request today's resource person, Dr. Shraddha M. Bhume, Satish Pradhan, Dhyana Sadhana College, Thane, Maharashtra, to start the session. Over to you, madam.
Good morning, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, you're audible.
Okay. So let's begin the session. I will just keep my video off so that I can go with the flow. Yeah. Can you please start the PPT, sir?
Yes, yes, it started.
Yes. So yes, what motivates us for research study? That is a thing which we will begin. But before that, I would like to thank our Dr. Ramachandra sir, then Dr. Raghavendra sir, an entire committee who is organizing this 5-day faculty development program on research methodology, a detailed research process. I'm really thankful to Ramchandra sir for giving me this wonderful opportunity to share my experience of research with you all. Yes, I will be sharing entire journey of research, how it should be carried out by the researcher. Right from what motivates us to do the research till the thesis submission. All the guidelines will be given in this session. We can go to next slide. Yes. So, first of all, before the concept of research, I would like to explain you what motivates us for the research study. So, this question is of fundamental importance. The possible motives for doing the research may be either one or more, like you desire to get the research degree, or you want some benefits which comes along with the degree, or you may desire to face the challenge, in solving particular unsolved problem. That means to give solution to the practical problem. You may have the desire to get intellectual joy of doing some creative work. You may have desire to give service to the society. However, apart from that, there are other factors such as directives of government, employability conditions, curiosity about new things, desire to understand causal relationship, social thinking, awakening, and many motive factors at as the time compel are performing us to make the research operations. So, what is a research? Research is simply to think what nobody else has thought. It is simply a discovery of new relationship between the existing facts, objects, concepts, phenomena which were thought to be independent of each other. So it should not be dependent on somebody else. So it is a scientific and systematic search for the knowledge. So next slide. We can go for, after understanding why to do research, we have to go for selection of topic. That is very essential part of every research activity. Now, there is a difference between, again, the word topic of the research and the title of the research. So what does a topic mean? What should be the topic? Ideas for topics come from myriad of sources. Some will be generated by interest in particular area of previous work, or others by discussing the issues with peers and academics, and some by reading the literature. So, initial ideas also be in various stages of development. So when you think of selecting the topic, you have to be useful, or you should know how can you get the information. Are you in a position to travel to use such sources? What are your interests? and with this interest be maintained for the longer duration of the research, that is another 2 years, 3 years, or 4 years. Who will be interested in this research? After understanding your research topic, is it going to be benefited to the society? These all things, as a researcher, you should know. So in the early stage, it is probably wise to give all topics under consideration and title and write them down. So while thinking about research topic, you must discuss the ideas with the colleagues, browse the literature through www.com, discuss the ideas with your guide or professor who is an expert with the discipline and can help you to decide upon the appropriate topic. While selecting the topic, you must be comfortable with the topic. You should attract the plenty of information. You should avoid too narrow or too vague subjects. You should avoid controversial subjects and subjects which are already overdone. Now, here I would like to give you the example of what is the difference between the word topic and the word title of the research. Now, suppose I want to do my PhD or my research in the topic called as IT in banking. But as we all know, this is a topic, not the title for the study. So I would like to highlight here the example. And if many people have done, they're working on IT in banking. I know it's been already done a lot on this topic. So what will I do in this case? I will choose one aspect of IT in banking. For example, in banking, there are cooperative banks, there are commercial banks, there are foreign banks, who all are aggressive than cooperative banks in IT sector, right? So here, as a researcher, I may choose a study on impact of ICT techniques on cooperative bank of Thane region in Maharashtra state. So this is the exact title of my research work. I'll repeat again. The topic was IT in banking, but I have narrowed down it to ICT technique, that is information and communication technology. That too, entire banking I have narrowed down to cooperative sector, and that too, cooperative bank of Thane region. So I have precisely narrowed down my title of study as a study on application of ICT in cooperative bank of Thane city. So this is a title. So there is a difference between the word topic, as topic is a broader concept and title is actual narrowed down concept which we want to study. So next slide, please. Yeah. So before going on to review of literature, we have to focus on what research is. Research is generally a systematic gathering of data and information and its analysis for advancement of knowledge in any subjects. So it attempts to find answer, intellectual and practical questions through the application of systematic methods. So it is actually nothing but a voyage of discovery. We all possess the vital instincts of inquisitiveness, for when the unknown comforts us, we wonder, and our inquisitiveness makes us probe and attain full and fuller understanding of the unknown path. So this inquisitiveness is nothing but a mother of all knowledge, and the method which man employ can be termed as a research. So it is an academic activity. As such, it is used in technical terms. So, in short, why do we do research and how do we do research? So we have to start a research with review of literature. What is literature? Something which you have in black and white form with you. It's called as literature. So that literature can be available in books, journals, research reports, research papers, reference books, periodicals, scholarly textbooks, articles, case laws, government policy notes, everything in nowadays, even blogs, internet, websites, journals, online journals, scholarly articles, newspaper articles, magazines, all comes under the literature. So what is literature review? It describes the academic papers which are relevant to particular field or a topic. It provides the overview of main theories and hypotheses, appropriate methods and methodologies, what questions are to be asked, what are the findings and key writers of the writings of the research. So in short, what is a literature review? Summary of previous research on the topic of the study. So you have to review, or the review should enumerate, describe, summarize, objectively evaluate, and clarify previous research work in the area of your research work. I'll repeat again. The review should enumerate, describe, summarize, objectively evaluate, and clarify what the previous research done by somebody. So it should give a theoretical base for the research and help the author to determine the nature of research. So it is assumed that by mentioning a previous work in the field of study that author has read, evaluated, assimilated that work into work at hand. So it creates a general landscape for the reader and give him exact understanding of lot of developments in the field in which he wants to do the research work. So why should we do a research? By reviewing other literature in our subject area, one can see what did and didn't work for other researchers. So you can plan what you have to do in future. Also, it makes you strong in undertaking of key published work in the field. Now, you will ask me a question here, madam, how to select the literature? So you have many articles with you. You can go through various websites such as Google Scholar. I mean, these are the databases which are available. Google Scholar, PubMed, JSTOR, Ibisco, Project Muse, EcoEnlit. These are the various things which are available with the researcher. You can have the things from your internet and you can get the related literature which you want to review related to the topic. So these are the things, how to do the review of literature. First of all, before doing any review, you have to define the area of the study or the problem. You have to search for the material. You can search from these all databases. Now for searching this, you should use the word keywords. You have to find out, you have to identify certain 3 to 5 important keywords related to your topic or title of the study. You have to put it on that database and you can extract various material available in that database related to your study which somebody has done in past. So there is a specific method of writing the review of literature. Basically, you have to divide it in 3 parts. First, you have to write introductory part, then write actual body of review, and then conclusion. How? Understand. See, while writing the introduction, you should define and identify the general topic, issue, area of concern, and thus you can provide the appropriate context for the reviewing the literature. So, point out overall trends in what has been published about the topic, any conflicts in theory, any conflicts in methodology, conclusion, and try to find out the gap in research, any single problem or new perspective of immediate interest. That will be the introductory part of 4 to 5 lines while doing the introductory part of particular research paper or article. Then once you complete with the introduction part, you have to go for writing the exact body. So in the body, you should group research studies and types of literatures according to common approach, conclusions by the author, specific purpose of carrying the research by the author, objectives, and chronology. So you have to summarize individual studies or articles with as much or little detail merits, that is positive points, in accordance with the work which you are going to do. So in short, in the body part of review of literature, you will use nothing but summary of individual study or the article, inclusive of various positive aspects of the literature. And then you have to conclude the things. Summarize, what do you include in this? Summarize major contributions, significant studies, evaluate the current state of art, and conclude by providing some insight into relationship between the topic and the ROL. So this is how your ROL, that is review of literature, will comprise of 3 parts. You don't have to divide it actually when you write, but you have to keep in mind that when I'm writing 15 to 16 lines on ROL, I will divide my 3 to 5 lines in the introduction part, then main body part, and conclusion part of the research paper, which I am dividing on. So, generally speaking, there are 2 types of review of literatures. First is experimental ROL and second is theoretical ROL. So experimental ROL includes what? Surveying all the information available on a particular topic and critically analyzing the gaps that need to be worked upon. So the more extensive the review, the more precise and systematic research project you can carry upon. So experimental ROL covers critical review of literature, and the theoretical literature review is surveying and critically reading the existing literature, but penning down that gist in a systematic and organized manner. So this is a way writing it in a systematic chronological order will come in theoretical review of literature part of your research work. So basically, the main purpose of review is to introduce the reader to the need for conducting the research. Now, how will you carry out the review of literature? As if today you have registered for your PhD, as sir said, there is a time plan for every research. Otherwise, don't fall in love with your research. This is a never-ending process, dear participants. So, while forming or while doing a PhD or while doing a research, you have to plan or have the time plan for your research work. So initially when you register for PhD, entire 1 year, you have to focus upon maximum reading, and after reading, reviewing it. How will you do it? I'll give you a very nice example over here. I will go to Google Scholar. I will put the keywords and I will get many articles, many research papers, many blogs related to my topic. Once I get it, first my responsibility is to download every research paper or article which I am going to need for literature review. So when I am downloading it, I will make one folder in my computer or laptop. I will give the name to folder as research papers or articles or simply review of literature. In that case, while saving each and every paper, what I will give the or save it as number 1 and then whatever is the title. Number 2, number 3, number 4. So I will save each document with the specific numbering. Then I will make one notebook. On the notebook, there are 2 pages. One on the left hand side and one on the right hand side. So on the top of left hand side page, I will insert the number 1. Then I will turn up my page of my notebook and then I will write number 2 on the left hand side page again. Then I will turn the page and again I will write number 3. So on each left hand side of my page of my notebook, I will number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 like that. So I am saving all my documents as 1, 2, 3, 4 in my computer folder, namely review of literature. And along with that, what I am doing is I am maintaining one notebook with the same numbers on the left hand side. Now, once I will read all the documents, first document suppose I am reading. Whatever from reading I am understanding, I will write it down on the left hand side of the page. I am keeping right hand side blank. This is how if I complete my 10 review of literatures. This is only my first insight after reading the research paper, which I am noting down on the left hand side page of my notebook. Again, as I complete 10 reviews, I will go through again from number 1 and I will now read critically that article. And whatever critically I am reading it, that points I will jot down on the right hand side of my page of the notebook. So in short, like this, my notebook will be ready at the end of 6 months or say 8 months or 9 months with lot of review of literature. Suppose my daily target is to download 5 papers, read them, write them positively. Then at the end of the week, day 6 and 7, I will read again all 5 and I may write it critically. So in a week's time, I can review so many articles. This is how I can plan my review of literature with the notebook and folder. So when they will ask you for PhD, really have you read all these documents? You have that folder ready with you in your desktop of review of literature, all the related documents, and you have a notebook with you maintained in which you yourself have written the reviews, one positive and one critical. So combination of these two, you can type in your computer for another 3 months of the first year. So this is how in the beginning, first year of your PhD degree, dear participants, you can be ready with the first chapter, say about 100 to 120, 25 review of literatures. And yes, as research, there are many unethical practices going on. As per the new education policy, plagiarism should be avoided. So in this case, you are avoiding the plagiarism 100%. This is how you can make the chapter of review of literature for around 40 to 50 pages in your thesis. So start through literature search using the main keywords, relevant online database. Once material is gathered, introduce readers to the field of study, highlight the progress in the field of study in chronological manner, then comparison of positives and critical reviews of different studies, and controversial aspect will help you to identify the main gap, which helps to formulate the statement of problem. Next slide, sir. Yes. So once you know, or once you have done the review, you can make the, as I have said, you can find out the gap and make the statement of problem. So once your statement of problem is ready with you, you can formulate the objectives of research. So the purpose of research is to discover answers to questions through the application of various scientific procedures. The main aim of research is to find out the truth which is hidden, which has not been discovered yet. So why we should have the objectives for any research? To gain the familiarity with the phenomena, to achieve the new insights into the studies, to portray accurately the characteristics of our own research work, to determine the frequency with which something occurs or with which it is associated with something else, and to finally test the hypothesis of cause and effect relationship between the variables. So it must ascertain that your study will benefit the society at large by solving the problems as suggested by your research. State the objectives clearly and avoid. See, many times I have, gone for conferences to as a guest or judge, to as a chairperson of the track. So that time I have observed many of the people are writing objectives, or when thesis comes to me for evaluation, I have observed that generally 6 to 7 objectives are written that are sufficient for any PhD thesis. When you are writing a research paper, 2 to 3 objectives are sufficient. But yes, they are oftenly observed with the word to study. People always write the word to study, and to study. No, you have to use various words such as to understand, to analyze, to evaluate, to develop, to determine, to find out, to measure, to suggest, to present, to compare, to promote, and to give solution. So this is how one need to frame the objectives for the research work. These words, similar words, can be utilized by you apart from the word to study. Next slide, sir. Once you are formulated your objectives, now it's the time or journey to start and frame the hypothesis of the study. One of the crucial part, we all know what hypothesis is. Basically, it is a statement that assumes the relationship between dependent and independent variable. It provides the basic for data collection and data analysis. Generally, not all types of research requires hypothesis. It depends on research approach, research type, and research method. For example, it is more suitable for descriptive data rather than deductive data, or when the approach is deductive. So, hypothesis is nothing but a set of proposition set forth as an explanation. Now, we will take another example over here. Suppose I want to survey students' perception towards the junk food eating. As we all know, FSSAI, an honorable government of India, has banned this food, junk food, from the college canteen. So if I want to survey on this note for the students' behavior or students' perception towards the junk food eating habits, there are two. How can I frame the objective? To understand the student's mindset towards junk food eating habits. Another objective can be to evaluate the junk food eating frequency of the students. So on that basis, how can I have the hypothesis? Yes, there can be positive answer or negative answer to any question. So positive can be yes, students love junk food, students do not love junk food. So one is a positive, another is a negative. So similarly, in our case, the hypothesis will be null hypothesis with a negative one and alternate hypothesis with the positive answer one. So null hypothesis is students do not love to eat junk food. What will be the alternate hypothesis? Students love to eat junk food. So this is how I can frame the hypothesis in this situation. The second example we will take, students do not love to eat junk food every day. This will give me the objective frequency of eating. Students love to eat junk food every day. So this is a null and alternate hypothesis I can frame on. Another example we will take. I'm sorry, I'm from the finance and commerce and accountancy background, so I'm giving you more examples of that origin. Another example, if we want to study forensic accounting and its role in detection of banking frauds. So I can say here, the objective of the study can be to identify how forensic accounting can prevent the frauds in banking sector. So my hypothesis in that case will be forensic accounting. Sorry, there is no association between forensic accounting and banking frauds. There is association between forensic accounting and frauds in banking. So I am finding the association between the two. So this is how, while framing hypothesis, I need to utilize various words. Now, another example we will take, if I want to find out effects of organizational factors on job satisfaction of employees. What will I do? I'll give you a simple trick over here. We can make a flow chart before framing the hypothesis. We have to list the independent variables and we have to list the dependent variables. What is my objective? To find out the effect of organizational factors on job satisfaction of employee. We all know what are the organizational factors, that is remuneration, reward, training, job engagement, workload, promotion scope. These are all the organizational factors, right? So they are the independent variable. Sorry, they are the independent variables. And what are the dependent? They are the dependent variables. And what is the independent variable of this? Job satisfaction. So we will list down all the independent variables on the left hand side of the page, and on the right hand side of the page I will jot down the dependent variable. So then from left hand side to right hand side, I will flow the chart. Okay, and while flowing the chart from left to right, as a researcher, I may use certain words such as association, effect, relationship, that kind of words I can use upon. So, how will I frame my hypothesis in that case? Null hypothesis can be organizational factors such as remuneration, reward, training, job engagement, promotion scope at the workplace have no effect on job satisfaction. So all these factors I am writing on the left hand side, the independent factors, that is all these organizational factors, and on the right hand side arrow I am joining it with the word no effect in the null hypothesis, and in alternate hypothesis I will have the word have significant effect on, and I will frame the alternate hypothesis. So this is how, with this flow chart, I can make the hypothesis of my study. So next slide. Once we have done with developing the hypothesis, we have to go for research methodology. So what is research methodology? In our thesis, there is exclusively one chapter, generally the first chapter or the third chapter, depending on the university parameters, we can have this research methodology chapter. So what it will include? Research methodology is nothing but crucial understanding with the aims and objectives of the study. It will describe how and what will be researched. Okay, so you will have to discuss the methods you used to do your research. The methodology chapter will explain what you did, how you did, allowing readers to evaluate the reliability and validity of your own research work. So it should include the type of research you did, how you collected the data, how you analyzed the data, any tools or materials you used in research, and yes, your rationale for choosing this method for research. So this is how your research methodology will give you the course of action which you are going to achieve, how you are going to achieve, how are you going to collect your data, how are you going to analyze your data, all in the nutshell. So generally, ideally, this methodology section should be written in the past tense by you while writing the research methodology chapter. Now, I will focus on each aspect what you have to include in your research methodology part of the study. Very first thing you have to include is research universe. What universe, which area you are going to choose. Then you have to write which type of research you want to conduct. That will be point number 2. Then point number 3 will be sampling, a very important aspect of any research work in social science, in management, and in case of accounting, finance, and commerce background research works. Sample. What is a sample? It is a respondent who will either fill up your questionnaire, who will either give you the answers to your questions, which you may ask through schedule or interview or any other method of data collection. So you have to use the technique of sampling. We all know there are two types of broad sampling techniques, probability and non-probability. So generally, depending upon your research, you have to choose the method of sample and you have to justify why are you using this method in this chapter called as research methodology. Then sample size. Ideally, when you focus upon number of respondents, three things affect over here. Number one, you can see the formula on Google. In that, you can put the values and you can get the sample size. Number two, you can take on your own certain assumption figure as a sample. And number three, your university or your guide may give you certain number of respondents. So depending upon these three factors, you can choose the sample size for your research work. Then this will include the method of data collection. What do you mean by method of data collection? The data can be collected primarily as well as secondary. Primary data should be interview, observation, and experimentation. Yes. So this data you can study through or collect through various primary sources. When you go for questionnaire, you have to see the questions are written properly with proper sequence. It should not be too lengthy and too short, but ideally should be logical and systematic study, should include all your objectives and hypothesis, should be covered through that questions, and ideally it is a combination of open-ended, close-ended, pictorial and dichotomous questions, so that the respondent should not feel boring at the time of filling the question. And nowadays, not nowadays, but from last 5 years, I am seeing the growth in data collection technique. People are preparing the surveymonkey.com, Google form, or any other questionnaire through surveymonkey.com or any other website. This is also bibliography part of your thesis or references part of your research paper. Okay, so this is how you can focus upon primary data, secondary data. Then you have to write data analysis techniques. Which technique you are going to use? Chi-square test, ANOVA, Yule's coefficient of association, Kruskal-Swallows test, Wiki-Lambda test, mean rank, standard deviation, correlation, regression, time series analysis. Which kind of technique you are going to use ideally? You can write it upon in that. And why are you using that? The justification also should be used in research methodology chapter of your thesis. Next slide, sir. Yeah. So almost if you have collected the data, you have done analysis, ideally your chapter plan should be like there should be 5 chapters in your thesis. The chapter 1 should be introduction. Chapter 2 will be review of literature. Chapter 3 can be research methodology. That is nothing but what I discussed right now. Then chapter 4 will be analysis and interpretation. Then last will be finding, conclusion and suggestion. Now, as I want to focus more upon time plan to study. How will be your time plan? Ideally, as per UGC's guidelines, 3 years are given to you for the research PhD work. So how will I plan my 3 years? The first year I told you, in that first year, 9 months, what will I do? I will just download articles, thesis, reviews, many things. Then I will read, I will write positively, I will write negatively. Then combination of both, critical review of literature, I will type it in computer for another 3 months. So my entire second chapter, ROL, will be ready by the first year. You know, After that, it will be very, very helpful for me to find out the gaps, to frame the objectives. I can do this along with review of literature. So in the first year, I can be ready with 2 chapters, that is review of literature and my synopsis or my first proposal, which 25 to 30 pages, which I need to submit to university. I can go for writing of that in the first year. And that proposal only you have to extend and write in detail in the chapter 3 called as research methodology. So in short, in the first year of my registration, I have to complete chapter 2 and chapter 3. Then I can focus upon chapter 1. But yes, again, it is a tedious process to write down, and you may feel bored while writing or drafting the thesis. So that time you have to read, you have to write, then you have to take a break. And in that break, you have to think a lot. So this is how it will help you in understanding, main concepts behind the research work. Next slide, sir. Yeah. So how to write references. Now, when you say a word research paper, you have to write references. And when you are writing a thesis, you have to use the word bibliography. So what this will include? This will include first books. Nowadays or in computer, you have to just type it, what you are referring. Computer, you select it, computer will automatically give you APA style or whatever Chicago style which you want to write for. But yes, you have to write each and every reference in order to avoid the plagiarism and to give or acknowledge the person whose idea you are inculcating in your PhD work as maybe a beginner work or maybe a 50% of his work, but you have to acknowledge him or her by citing him, by giving the reference of him in your bibliography or references part. So first will be books, followed by journals, then periodicals, government reports, policy notes, statutes, and last you have to mention websites. Websites should not include google.com, should not include yahoo.com, etc. because they are the search engines. You have to use exact URL address. Next slide. So now, analysis and interpretation of data. Interpretation means drawing the inference from the collected facts and computed statistics or after doing the tests in statistics. So interpretation includes 2 major aspects. First is the effort to establish the continuity in the research by linking it with the previous study, or the second aspect can be the establishment of some explanatory concepts. So in one sense, interpretation is concerned with the relationship. With whom? With the collected data, partially overlapping the analysis part. So it extends beyond the data of the study and it includes more of your theory and hypothesis. So through research, through interpretation, you can write or you can get the factors which you can explain what you have observed while doing the entire course of study. So it provides theoretical conception which can serve as further scope for the research. So it can be done with the help of various statistical tools, tables and graphs. I have given some of the links over here which can be utilized by you for doing the online interpretations and analysis of your collected data. And nowadays, even in Excel, by adding the statistics, you can do online in your Excel only your own analysis. Only thing is you should know the formula Rather, the formulas are also available in Excel, and you just have to select proper columns and rows, and you can get ready-made statistical analysis in our Excel. But for that, your computer should be of a Microsoft 2010 Windows. Yeah. So next slide, sir. Once you are completed with this, the entire journey, what I have explained you so far is how to draft the doctoral thesis. So far your thesis is ready. So it is divided into 3 parts. The first part is a preliminary part. That is nothing but a title page, certificate by guide, acknowledgement, table of contents, abstracts, synopsis. These things will be included. Then the second part of any thesis will be main body. Main body includes all 5 chapters of you. After the 5th chapter, as we have discussed 5 chapters, after the 5th chapter, you can include one heading that is nothing but scope for further research. That means what you can do after this research journey, what this topic will give you in future, something which you want to more focus upon must be highlighted by you even when you are doing a research paper and even in your writing of the thesis. So that is important according to me. And then supplementary material. Supplementary material will include bibliography, appendices, blank copy of questionnaire, visit letter to organization, and if you have visited on the field, some of the photographs also can be mentioned over there. Next slide. There are 2 approaches while drafting the thesis. Okay, the first approach, next slide, sir. The first approach is planning writer and second approach is generative writer. So planning writer means what? You know, they are highly structured. They find the tip, they write first heading of each chapter, then they define various series of sections, then they break these subsections into subsections and keep breaking down until they are happy. So this kind of approach is called as planning writers. They check all completed sections or chapters and then they note it down and then they write the inside part of it. But ideally, a person is a generative writer. Who are they? They prefer to get the ideas down on the paper and later on they organize. And that means they choose a chapter, just start typing, then they do some work, then they summarize each paragraph as a bullet point, then use this summary to gain the overview, and then they order and reorder entire things. So these are the 2 general approaches which you can use while writing the thesis. Next slide, sir. Abstract. Next slide, sir. As abstract is very important part of writing the thesis. Generally, where you can find this abstract? On the first, after your preliminary material, abstract is to be written before the chapter 1 of your thesis. Or even if you see research paper, it is written in the beginning part of research paper. Ideally, it is at the first place of either research paper or a thesis. But according to me, this abstract should be written at the end of research paper or at the end of summary, though it is to be placed first. Why and how? It is nothing but a concise summary of research paper or the entire thesis. It is nothing but an original work, not an excerpted passages. So abstract must be fully self-contained, make sense by itself without further reference to outside source or to the actual paper. It should highlight the key content areas. It should highlight your research purpose. It should highlight the relevance or importance of your work and the main outcomes of the working. So, all abstracts generally should include 5 sections. The first section, why do you write? That is reasons for writing. Second, what are the problems in this research work? Not related to your study of them, but why do you search? So problem statement should be included in this. What methodology the researcher has adopted while doing the research? Few results and implications of the study should be included in the abstract of research paper or in the thesis. I would like to give you one example over here that, when you are drafting the thesis, you have to use certain phrases to avoid plagiarism, which are useful in any academic writing. See, suppose if you want to show analysis, which verbs you can use? Analyze, appraise, define, diagnose, explore, identify, investigate, observe. These are the similar words you can use in order to avoid repetition of the words. Then if you are summarizing something, you can use the verbs such as assess, conclude, feature, highlight. If you are indicating any information in a figure, you can use the verbs such as depict, display, illustrate, portray, reveal. The similar words you can use. If you are indicating any information from the table in your thesis or in your research paper, you can use the words such as classify, enumerate, gives, lists, presents, summarizes, etc. If you are stating or if you are indicating the control, which words you will use? Govern, constrain, influence, limit, maintain, prohibit. And if at all you are showing any change, you can use the words such as decline, alter, accommodate, difference, evolve, fluctuate, generate, etc. So in today's session entirely, we have gone through the journey of research, writing the thesis or research paper. And the main aspect we have seen today is how to frame the objectives, with the examples, how to frame the hypothesis with the examples. Then also I have focused upon how to do review of literature practically. And now coming up to last part, again time plan, and then I will end up with the session within 5 minutes. In the time plan, first year you have focused on writing 2 chapters of the thesis, that is chapter on review of literature and research methodology along with proposal. So then you can go for introductory chapter related to topic and title of your study for another 3 to 6 months. And along with that, you have to start framing the questionnaire for the data collection. So another 6 months you have to collect the data. So your 2 years have gone now. So last 1 year, first 6 months, first term of the 3rd year, you can do analysis, or you can take the help of statistician for analysis, but try to understand what the statistician is analyzing in your research work. And then last 6 months, you have to be writing, summary, your conclusions, your scope for further research. Suppose if you want to develop certain model, or you have to give some recommendations, you have to focus on that during the journey of research. So with this, I thank the organizers for giving me the opportunity to share the knowledge and my experience with this journey of research. Over to Ramchandra sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, madam. So any participants having any clarifications or any inputs you require, just post it in the chat box. I'll unmute you so that you can ask madam. So anybody is having any clarifications or doubt, just post it in the chat box so that I can unmute you. So directly you can speak. So start typing your questions.
Hope the lecture was clear to all.
Yes, it's more informative and it is clear.
Yes.
Participants, so you can start posting your questions in the chat box so that we will take up one by one. Any clarifications or questions regarding the entire research process, you can ask. I'm asking yesterday's questions. Okay, Darshan Joshi once again. Darshan Joshi. Darshan Joshi, you can ask.
So sorry, sir. Yesterday's question I'm
Yes, you
repeating
can
to
ask,
ma'am.
no problem.
Ma'am, I would like. I have. I belong to the same field as you have done researches, and I am very much new to this setup of research and research methodology. So I would like to know from you the best centers in and around Thane or Mumbai to do my research work in the field of commerce or accounting.
Okay. So you basically stay in Thane only?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you can do from University of Mumbai, and as such there is now no this thing UGC has given the list of universities which are good for PhD. So you can go for any university which is UGC approved for your doctoral work. That's important.
Okay. Okay, ma'am.
You can come to me also. I have one seat open with me for JJT University, Rajasthan.
Ma'am, I would like to be a part of that, surely.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
So any more the questions and clarifications from the participants? So that your questions, so it will be answered to all the participants. They will also get the benefit.
There are no questions. I'm worried more.
Please interact with us so that she can clarify your doubts. So any the questions related to the research methodology, you can ask. Our research process, any stage where you are lagging right now doing your research. So you can share with us so that whatever we know, we can give you those information. We can motivate you also. So
No
any
questions?
questions?
Call bouncer or what?
Because they understood everything, so that's why they are not asking questions.
Oh my God.
So any more questions so that we'll try to answer from our end? And she's also eagerly waiting to take some questions. Any questions pertaining to the time plan or objectives, topic selection today, whatever the topic she has covered, any questions you can ask. Thesis writing step, how we about use of statistical software and data analysis. Prashant Pai. Okay.
Yes.
Prashant Pai, you can speak. Prashant Pai.
Statistical analysis, right, sir?
Yes, madam.
Mm.
Yes, madam. Which are the very good softwares at present? I know about SPSS software. So, how effectively we can use this SPSS software?
See, basically, everybody nowadays knows only SPSS as a software for statistical analysis. But as I particularly mentioned in my session about Excel, please try it. It is very easy. I'll request Ramchandra sir. I'll give you one speaker who teaches you entire analysis in Excel. I'll
Okay.
give you that picture. You can keep the session of Dr.
Okay,
Mohit
sure.
Sharma.
We'll plan it
It's a
in future. Yeah.
fantastic one. Yes. Absolutely. Even we do. I have done the workshop under him. He has taught us even online how to do analysis by using MS Excel. And that's why in my lecture specifically, I have used the word. You do research analysis with the help of Excel. There is no need to buy any software. It is available already in our computer. And that's it. You can do all sort of tests in MS Excel. So it's very easy.
Correct. There are many statistical tools are available. So which one is more suits for your the work they can select. Even Minitab is a very good the statistical tool. So
Yes.
people can use it.
R is there.
Yes, yes.
R
Yeah,
statistics.
Even to plot the graph also many good number of the software available like Origin. Even Minitab, even Spaces also we can plot the graphs also. So any other questions? Sanjay Kumar wanted to speak. Yes, Dr. Sanjay Kumar, you can speak with the speaker. Over to you. Dr. Sanjay Kumar.
Hello.
You can
Is it
over
audible?
to you. Yeah, audible.
While writing thesis, in the some of the contents of the plagiarism, it will be repeated again. How to manage the scenario?
For review of literature, I have already shared with you. You write and you type.
But some
You
of the
write
words
and
like
you
it
type.
will be
So
repeated
that
again.
will avoid the
Some of the words
plagiarism.
we can't change at all, madam. Like table.
Yeah. So in that case,
some
you
are-
have to exactly go to the origin from where that article has come up, from where that exact statement that other researcher has used. So you have to go and dig out from the references and references and references, go to original source and cite it. Then it will not come in plagiarism. Citation is important in that case.
Okay.
Yes.
And even
And
to avoid the
further,
plagiarism. Tell me, madam.
In order to avoid plagiarism, you have to just write and rewrite. That is very
Rewrite is
important.
very important. I will add up on to that. So exact whatever it is available in the paper, if you write it, definitely 100% plagiarism of that paper you will get. So you understand that what exactly the researcher has done work, you write in your own words. Okay, that means the meaning should not change. So you
Rewriting again and again, some of the words it is going to catch again. Some sentences
that we cannot do. Some of the standard words we have to write it as it is, but somehow we can the percentage we can reduce by doing this.
That's what overall. When we put it, which has to be put it in 10 sentence to 2 sentence, then the 2 sentence sometimes it may not convey everything. That will be the problem.
So you have to rewrite. Rewriting is very
Yes.
important.
In your own words, you rewrite so that the entire meaning should not change. That's all. So, any more questions from any participants? So, any more questions regarding that plagiarism? So, we will trying on resource person. So she has not given any date. Once she give a date to us, definitely one session will organize for this plagiarism the aspects. Sure. So there, that is a platform where we can speak more about the plagiarism. One more, the participant Santosh Kumar. So you can speak. Santosh Kumar, over to you. Santosh Kumar.
We find a very good articles which is related to our work, and we thought this can be cited when I'm writing any research article. So, but after 1 year, so there are bunch of articles I used to download, but when I'm writing, how to trace those articles initially, which I want to cite. So, any software or any organizing process
For
for this?
downloading.
Yeah, no,
No, I told you now.
organizing
Very
articles.
simple technique I have given you, sir. When you are putting the keywords in Google Scholar or any datamate, once you get the article, first you download it in your computer and number it properly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like that, you save as in your
Okay.
computer and maintain a notebook like this. Okay, if this is my notebook, on your left hand side, write down page, number 1. Then on the next page, left hand side, on this right part, you write number 2, write number 3, and then you go on writing the review. So you have the software downloaded in your computer. Along with that, on the left hand side page, you may have the positive review about the article, and on the right hand side part, you may have the negative review about the article. So in short, combinedly, you can get the good answer in your own words for review of literature. Because in any thesis, maximum plagiarism is often found out from the chapter called as review of literature.
Yes.
So this is a simple technique. On computer, make one folder. In that folder, whatever you download, number it properly. So same number here, you write in your own words what is the positive thinking and what is the critical thinking on that article. That will give you at least 2 to 3 books must be ready while doing the PhD thesis. And to avoid the plagiarism as well again.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
So any more the participants want to ask any question or to clarify any doubts? Still, the platform is open. You can ask. Even simple things also, whatever, wherever you are lagging and wherever you are stopped. Okay, so you can take the input and so that you can continue your work. So this is what is required from your side. A few more questions we will take. So no questions?
No questions. Thank you.
Prashant, you can carry on.
Thank you, sir and madam. Gratitude is the essence of humanity. Now, I thank today's resource person, Dr. Shraddha M. Bhume, Satish Pradhan Dhyana Sadhana College, Maharashtra, Thane, for her informative session. Thank you very much, madam.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Ramchandra sir, for giving
Thank
the
you,
wonderful opportunity to share few things which I know about research to everyone. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you.
I also thank Dr. Ramchandra CG, the Managing Director, and Dr. Raghavendra Prasad MD, Research Head, Sanatana Research and Training Institute, for their involvement in organizing this faculty development program. Thank you, sirs. Finally, I thank all the participants for your active participation in this session. Thank you one and all. Have a nice day.
Thank
So
you.
with this, we'll end this day 3, session 3. So we hope whatever the content so we are planning in all the sessions are reaching you. So this is what the intention which is behind this the 4-day workshop. Okay, once again, I thank today's speaker, Dr. Shraddha M. Bhume, for her, sparing her time with us today and accepting our invitation and sharing her in-depth the knowledge to all the participants. Really, it was an informative session to everyone. Thank you, one and all. Thank you, madam.
Thank you.